Youth is being served for the Rays and the Nationals. In Washington, 19-year-old phenom Juan Soto made an immediate impact, homering during his first start in the big leagues, and he hasn't looked back. In Tampa Bay, 8 rookies are on the roster, headlined by Jake Bauers, who had his signature moment yesterday.
And a high fly ball back into deep center field. That one is gone. Rays win in 12. Jake Bauers walks it off.
Tonight, Bauers and Soto square off at the Trop. Monday Night Baseball from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. The Rays riding another hot streak. Fresh off a sweep of the New York Yankees, now they welcome in the Washington Nationals for a quick 2-game set. It's interleague play for the Rays and the Nats on Fox Sports Sun. Inside Tropicana Field, sitting in for Dwayne Stats, I'm Rich Hollenberg alongside Brian Anderson. Interleague play for these two teams, and you just saw a little bit about the two youngsters. The Rays walked it off yesterday to continue this hot streak, and the walk-off home run was turned in by none other than 22-year-old Jake Bauers.
Listen, I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of very young, intriguing talent we're going to see in this quick 2-game series. Jake Bauers being one of those guys. You know, he gets an opportunity to come up. He's been up for about 3 weeks with the big club. And at just 22 years old, the first thing that you think about with Jake, quality at-bats. And look what he has done in his last 15 ball games, a .294 average. But how about this? A .438 on-base percentage. It belies his age, the way that he is able to work at-bats, see a lot of pitches, all except for that home run yesterday. First pitch ambush. That was a huge, huge moment for Jake Bauers. He said so himself, and that was set the Rays home winners. Juan Soto on the other side, hard to believe this guy, with the amount of carry and power that he has in his swing, is just 19 years old. Then you look at the production, the batting average of .324, the on-base percentage of .430 to go along with 6 home runs. He's on a pace to hit over 30 in a 162-game schedule. A very, very young, talented player that has shown the ability to make quick adjustments.
They're on center stage tonight, as is the pitching matchup. It features a pair of standout southpaws, Gio Gonzalez, the veteran left-hander for Washington, and Blake Snell for the Rays as he goes for his 10th win of this young season. Up next, Ramos roaming. The Buffalo, Wilson Ramos, continues to build his case as the best catcher in the American League. Michelle Margot will join us with more on that when we return before Game 1 of this 2-game set between the Rays and the Nationals.
in just a bit. But first, we talk about that man right there, catcher Wilson Ramos. He is in contention for a spot on the All-Star Game roster. He leads AL catching in voting right now. Let's take a look at what he's been able to do this season. With the Rays, he is hitting .289 with 9 home runs and 36 RBIs. And the last and only time he was an All-Star was in 2016 when he was with the Nationals. And for 6 seasons with the Nationals, he hit .268 and totaled 83 home runs. Here is today's starting pitcher, Blake Snell, on where his loyalty lies.
I'm just supporting the Buffalo for the All-Star Game. I think he's a clear choice. I think you could agree by just what he's done. Numbers don't lie. I'm excited for any lineup that I face, especially with Buffalo behind the plate. Excited for what we're going to do. It's his old team, so I know he'll be ready to go, and I'm looking forward to throwing to him.
Snell throwing to the potential All-Star catcher today in the first game of this 2-game interleague matchup. Gio Gonzalez goes for the Washington Nationals. First pitch from Tropicana Field coming right up as the Rays look to go 4 in a row. We'll be right back.
Back inside Tropicana Field, ready for game 1 of this quick 2-game set between the Washington Nationals, who come in at 41 and 35, and maybe surprisingly 3rd place in the National League East. Tonight's lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. There's Bryce Harper. He'll be in the on-deck circle to start things off. Trey Turner leads things off. He's 2nd in the major leagues with 21 steals. After Harper, it's Anthony Rendon, followed by the youngster who BA already talked about, Juan Soto. Michael Taylor on a hot streak. Martin Reynolds, the veteran. Wilmer Defoe, Pedro Severino, and the DH tonight for the Nationals, Adam Eaton.
Well, and for Blake Snell tonight, he is looking for win number 10, trying to get into double digits in the win column, making his 17th start. The ERA of 2.48, good enough for 5th in the American League in 94 1/3 innings of work.
There's only 3 guys pitching right now who have double-digit wins. Blake could join them tonight. First pitch, outside, ball 1. Trey Turner coming in, batting .266. Those 21 steals, got to keep him off the base paths.
And Snell evens the count at 1-1.
Yeah, and Blake had to do yeoman's work to get win number 9. His last time out, you look at his line, 7 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, all looks good. 7 walks he had to pitch around. And that's what made that outing so impressive. You know, there was some tough calls that went against him. There was some picking that he did, but the bottom line is when he needed to make the big pitch, he did. Kept the Astros to just the 1 run, got his 9th win.
And when you dig down into the numbers just a little bit against Houston for that start, he went 7 innings through 102 pitches and still with 7 walks.
That's, you know what, that's the other thing that you get to. You're right. All of that, 6 strikeouts, 7 walks, 102.
Finds himself behind a Turner, the leadoff hitter. And he walks Trey Turner on 5 pitches.
Well, and this is what you got to keep your eye out for, because if you look at Blake Snell on that last road trip, start in New York, start in Houston, a total of 12 innings pitched, 11 walks. So that's something to keep your eye on. That is something that has bedeviled him in the past, and you don't want to see that start to rear its ugly head again.
Have you noticed anything mechanically that would lead to more of those walks?
You know what? No. In fact, I thought if anything on that road trip against the Yankees and the Astros, 2 teams that were swinging the bat well, you're on the road, big crowds, I thought maybe he got a little bit too nitpicky around the zone and didn't just go out and challenge guys like we're used to seeing. And so I thought that led to some bad counts and, of course, then leads to the walk.
And here is Bryce Harper. Swinging at the first pitch and swinging through the first pitch, and that's been a big problem for Mr. Harper, especially in the last month or so. He has struggled mightily, B.A.
Well, you know, the front side leaking down that first base line, that has been the issue. You know, teams working him exclusively away, and he's been pulling off of everything. Starting to swing the bat a little bit better lately. It'll be interesting to see if that continues here in this series.
Swings and misses at strike 2, so quickly behind in the count, 0-2 to Blake Snell.
This is a great example of it. You're going to go down and away with that slider. Look at that hip. Everything open and pulling off that pitch, and underneath it, that was away.
Harper leads all of Major League Baseball with 19 home runs, but coming in just 185 as a batting average over his last 15 games. Down 0-2. And Snell just misses with a 96-mile-an-hour heater on the outside.
Boy, and that could have very easily been called strike 3. He put that in a perfect spot.
Certainly looked good on the Fox tracks. The 1-2. That one's in the dirt. Evens the count at 2-2. Harper hitting just .219 on the season. Already has 57 walks. As dangerous a hitter as there is in the National League. And there's Davey Martinez making his first return to Tropicana Field as a manager. That one's in the dirt, and we go full to Harper, 3-2.
Yeah, this will be a big pitch here. You know, even for Blake's confidence. Get back in the zone here. Either in the zone or just off. You know, present it well. Try to get Harper to chase. You figure this pitch is going to be away.
Trey Turner on first, the leadoff walk. The 3-2 pitch to Bryce Harper. That's grounded foul.
Well, that's really, you know, when Bryce Harper has done some damage, it's been on pitches like that, where pitchers are trying to go down and away, and they miss it middle in. And then all of a sudden, with him firing open, this ends up almost right down the middle for him.
One thing about Harper, he does not ground into a lot of double plays. Here's the 3-2. Outside, ball 4. And Blake Snell has walked the first 2 batters he's faced in this Nationals lineup.
Well, let's take a quick peek at the Rays defense, see how that's going to line up here tonight. Brought to you by Golden Diamond Source. And in the outfield left to right, we've got Daniel Robertson, Kevin Kiermaier, and Carlos Gomez. Across the infield, third to first, Matt Duffy, Adani Echeverria, Willie Adames, and Jake Bowers, with Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
And really, when you look at that defense, BA, I don't know if you could ask for much more than what they're putting out there right now.
Yeah, well, listen, there are a lot of guys that can go and get it. Good glove men. Interesting, you had Joey Wendell out in left field a few games ago. Now you've got Daniel Robertson. A lot of versatility on this team, and there needs to be because they've got a glut of infielders right now.
Robertson making his first start in left field. Did play an inning last year in left field for the Rays.
So that's got to make him feel good.
Oh, yeah.
I've got my inning in
He's a
out here.
natural now.
Yeah. And you know what? Tropicana Field, not real easy. Not real easy for outfielders just because of the roof, the dynamics of that, and obviously visiting teams. It'll be interesting to see if that affects the Nationals at all. Most of these players have never played under this roof.
Anthony Rendon, the number 3 hitter for the Nats. Went 4 for 9 in that 2-game series in the district back in early June. That one low again. Evens the count at 1-1. You look at Anthony Rendon, any picture you see of Anthony Rendon, he's got the hair flowing out of the back of that batting helmet. Apparently the barber has been traveling with these Washington Nationals. Bryce Harper shaved the beard, got a little haircut. Now Rendon's got short hair, trying to turn things around. They've been struggling lately.
They have. This team has lost 9 of their last 13.
Rendon swings and drives it to straightaway center field. Kevin Kiermaier tracking back just in front of the warning track and makes the first out of the inning. The runner's tag, and Adani Echeverria had a chance to get Bryce Harper, but he dropped the relay.
Well, here's the deal, and Kevin Kiermaier upset because he put the throw right where he needed to. Bryce Harper, that's deep enough to run on most center fielders, but not when you have the arm of Kevin Kiermaier. And this throw in plenty of time and a good hop to handle, it just wasn't. That was, boy, dead to rights. When Bryce Harper took off, you thought he's in big, big trouble, and that ball pops free, and the Nationals get an early break.
So the runners advance on the fly ball to center field by Anthony Rendon, and now Juan Soto, the 19-year-old, stepping in, batting .324 in his first campaign with the Nationals.
Well, let's take a look at a scouting report on Juan Soto. Teen sensation. Hard to believe with his production that he's just 19 years old, 31 games into his big league career, only played 8 games in AA before getting called to the big leagues. And that veteran production, you mentioned the .324 average. How about the on base of .430? Just 2 fewer walks than strikeouts. Well, anytime you get those close to 50-50, that is big time, and he's doing it at the tender age of 19.
He's got 16 RBIs on the season, a chance to add to that if he gets a knock here against Blake Snell. Right now it's a 1-1 count, 1 out. Top of the first inning, no score between the Rays and the Nationals. Here's the 1-1. Beautiful off-speed pitch taken for strike 2.
That buckled me in the booth. I'll tell you, that's what makes Blake Snell so dangerous. All his weapons, that is a buckling 12-6.
Plus fastball, plus off-speed stuff.
Yeah.
See what he dials up for the put-away pitch. The 1-2. Got him. A 90-mile-an-hour fastball right down the heart of the plate. And there's 2 away.
Yeah, Blake, I think Blake right there trying to go with a slider, ended up more like a cutter. Has a little bit of a hump in it. He jumped on that right on the side of that. You see that side spin. Not a lot of depth to it, but enough to get the swing and a miss. And this is where Blake Snell has excelled all season long. Runners in scoring position, he tightens up as well as anybody in Major League Baseball. The batting average against him with runners in scoring position coming into tonight was .068.
In a tough spot here, Taylor lines it out to right field, and Carlos Gomez is there to snare it and retire the side. The Rays will come up with Kevin Kiermaier leading things off when we come back. Bottom of the first, and your lineup for the Rays presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Kevin Kiermaier leading things off. Matt Duffy, one of the hottest hitters in the American League behind him. Daniel Robertson playing left. Will bat third tonight. Wilson Ramos cleanup. C.J. Cron DHing. Jake Bowers with that walk-off home run yesterday. Followed by Gomez, Echeverria, and Willie Adames rounding out the Rays lineup.
Well, taking the mound tonight for the Washington Nationals is going to be left-hander Gio Gonzalez, and depending on how you look at this, the Rays might be getting him at the right time. You see what he did in April and May, cruising to a 6-2 record, ERA of just over 2 total, but June has not been kind to Mr. Gonzalez.
Outside corner. That's ball 1-1 to Kiermaier. He struggled at the plate since he's come back, BA, but the center field position is on lockdown. He had a stolen base and a triple, so the legs are there. He just needs to get his timing down is what it looks like.
Yeah, and listen, he missed a significant amount of time. And so anytime you come back, even if you were hot on your rehab assignment, there's still something different about big league pitching and the timing of things. And so that will come around, no question about it. But certainly it's nice to have his energy back and his coverage out in center field for sure.
It's a very right-handed, heavy lineup, as you would imagine, against the southpaw Gonzalez. Kiermaier going up left on left. He's down. It's 2-2 right now. Swings and fouls it off. Major shift put on by the Nationals.
Yeah, maybe too much energy right here. I like that one. Feet are in. I like that. Then we've got the, yep. But too far, too far, too far. That was a big part of the game, too. That's a nice recovery right there.
He works a full count to Gio Gonzalez. And swing and a miss. Strike 3. Kiermaier goes down.
Take a look at the National defense, see how it's going to line up behind Gio Gonzalez, brought to you by Golden Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, we've got Juan Soto, Michael A. Taylor, and Bryce Harper. And across that infield third first, Anthony Rendon, Trey Turner, Wilmer Defoe, and Mark Reynolds, with Pedro Severino behind the plate.
There's Soto out in left field. That ball way inside for ball 1 to Matt Duffy. Duffy coming in batting .318 with 4 homers and 23 RBIs, but he's hit .344 in his last 23 games, and he's on a 4-game hitting streak right now where he's hitting .375. And a good eye by Duffy takes outside, ball 2. Matt Duffy won't get a lot of national recognition and probably won't get the amount of votes he needs, but he is as deserving as any third baseman in the American League to represent the Rays in the All-Star game.
He's been one of their most consistent, best players all season long.
Here's the 3-0. Outside, walked him on 4 pitches. So Gio Gonzalez obviously read the scouting report on Matt Duffy. He wasn't messing around.
Well, Matt Duffy, he's done a great job with his consistent approach. You know, he talks about looking to go up the middle the other way and turn on mistakes. He's been very good against right-handers. He's been very good against the fastball. He's a tough guy to pitch to. Anytime you get those guys that are willing to hit the ball the other way, that will hit where you pitch, that makes it difficult. That means as a pitcher, you really have to move the ball around, in and out, change speeds.
Matt Duffy, a big advocate of the spray chart.
He forces the defense to have to play him straight up, which used to be the norm. Not so much anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, look right there. Even with Defoe kind of pulled up the middle and the runner being held on, wide open right side for Robertson.
Robertson takes a strike. It's 1-1. Daniel Robertson batting third tonight. A lot of success against left-handed pitchers. He actually has more walks, 13, than he does strikeouts, 11 against southpaws. Having a great year, especially in the on-base category. And he drives this one into the left center gap. Going back is Taylor. back to the warning track, and he grabs it. And Duffy has to retreat all the way back to first base. Wow, Daniel Robertson gave that one a ride to the deepest part of the park.
I'll tell you what, I thought trajectory and pitch that this had a chance. He hit it hard. Michael Taylor's going to have just enough room. Not a whole lot of urgency right there after he caught it, because Matt Duffy was already around second base and about a third of the way to third. Look, here's Duffy. That's how far he's got to go back. Remember, you've got a touch too. I think Matt Duffy was convinced it was getting over his head.
So a close call averted by Gio Gonzalez. Brings up the Buffalo, Wilson Ramos. In the clubhouse right now is the American League leader in all-star votes for catchers, and deservedly so. A 289 average, 9 home runs, 36 RBIs. That ball taken outside. It's 1-1. Ramos back on another hot streak. 345 his last 9 games. Here's the 1-1. Upstairs, 2-1. Well, when you look at this, Brian, there is really no doubt as to who the best playing catcher is in the American League this season. The votes might tell you otherwise. It's probably too close than it should be.
True. I mean, Wilson Ramos, you think that he's going to put more distance between himself and Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez is going to miss some time.
Right.
You know, they're talking initially, they're thinking out of the gate at least 3 to 4 weeks with that groin strain. And Ramos, the numbers speak for themselves. That batting average approaching 300. You know, power and production. He's having a nice year. His first full season back. I think that that's made a difference for him, having a full, healthy spring training.
Here's the 2-2. And he got him looking. Strike 3. That retires the side. The Rays leave 1 man on. We go to the top of the second. No score from Tropicana Field. Brought to you by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Tampa Bay Rays. By the Florida Department of Transportation, drive sober or get pulled over. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Beautiful view. You see the Vinoy in the distance, just about a 5-minute drive to Tropicana Field from downtown St. Pete. Blake Snell opens the top of the second inning with a ball to the veteran, Mark Reynolds. Reynolds turned 35 in August, and with all this talk about all these youngsters, the 19-year-old Soto and the 22-year-old Jake Bauers, he must feel absolutely ancient on this team.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. 16 years older than Juan Soto. 16 years older than anybody on the Major League roster, and you feel that way.
That ball is shot down the left field line, foul. It'll be 1-2 to Reynolds.
Well, that bat doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
Well, he's had quite a career in his 12th season, closing in on 300 career home runs and 1,000 RBIs.
Well, he's always been an all-or-nothing guy. You know, big swing. He forces you to have to find the corners, get below the zone. Mistakes out over the plate, he absolutely destroys.
Rays fans might remember him as a Baltimore Oriole for a short stint. And he swings and misses at strike 3.
Well, he got him with the change of speed there, as well as the depth on that curveball. Boy, pull the string. Look how far out in front.
Helpless against the off-speed stuff. That brings up the second baseman, Wilmer Defoe, batting seventh rather, for the Nationals. You know, I was watching the Fox Sports 1 game you did with Michael Kay, and you talked, one of the conversations you had was about a 4-pitch pitcher, and sometimes you take the less is more theory. And could you be a jack of all trades and a master of none? Right now it seems, and granted, Blake Snell is only 25 years old, so his upside is still not been reached yet. But when you have a 4-pitch pitcher like Blake Snell, do you think as time goes on you kind of focus in on maybe 1 or 2?
No, if I'm Blake Snell, I don't do anything different. Nothing at all. And really, we were talking about Sonny Gray, and he had a 5th pitch. I think that's where you start to really spread yourself thin. There are some guys that can't handle 4 and should probably go to 3. This is not one of them. I mean, on any given day, and right now it's the curveball. Curveball's been his best pitch here tonight, but it's still early. The curveball, the slider, he's got, like I said, so many weapons that I would say you could make a really good case that he's got 4 elite pitches, at least at minimum above average to elite. When you think about the fastball and the velocity, the slider, the depth on the curveball, he's got a good changeup and he's not afraid to throw it like that. That's the pitch tonight. Tonight, early going, that curveball's sick.
That is filthy.
What are you going to do with that? I mean, if you do hit it, you're going to hit a 14, little dribbler back to Blake. You're going to swing and miss. Look at how he gets that out to the tip of the fingers, and then it just is gone. But, other nights it's the slider that takes center stage. The changeup, again, going back to a pitch that he's willing to throw behind in the count, in fastball counts.
And when your complementary pitch could be a 97-mile-an-hour heater, you're going pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that sets the stage for everything else. But he's a lot of fun to watch, and if I were him, it would be 4 all night long.
2 up, 2 down in the top of the second, both by way of the strikeout. Blake Snell has 3 strikeouts, all swinging so far in this contest. The 1-1, driven into the outfield gap. And Kevin Kiermaier shades over to squeeze it for the 3rd out of the inning. When we come back, C.J. Cron will lead things off for the Rays. At the bottom of the second, whether you're having a day out with the office or fun with friends, group tickets are the best way for your team to cheer on the Rays. Host your next company outing at Tropicana Field in an exclusive field-level party area or entertain clients in an executive suite. Visit raysbaseball.com/groups today and raise up. Gio Gonzalez settling in against C.J. Cron, the designated hitter tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays, batting 5th. Looks at ball 1 to start his first at bat of the night. Cron has had quite the struggle in the month of June. Only 7 hits this month, but 5 of those 7 have been extra base hits.
Well, teams have gone away from his strength. They tried to, keep the ball up in the zone, try to keep the ball close to him and crowd him a little bit. Like those can be dangerous pitches. Those are up a little bit. He likes that ball down and out over the plate. Saw a lot of home runs and a lot of production from him early in the season on pitches in those areas.
That ball is in there for a strike on a 3-0 count, so it's 3-1. Still a hitter's count for C.J. Cron. And listen, beggars can't be choosers. 16 home runs already. You think about you're facing a guy like Bryce Harper as Cron fouls it off. Bryce Harper leads Major League Baseball with 19, only 3 more than Cron has.
Yeah, I think that the reason that he gets so scrutinized is, first of all, it's his walk here as a free agent at the end of the season.
And Cron takes ball 4.
And there's been that talk, is it 300? Is it going to be 400 million? When you're throwing around those kind of, dollar figures, and it's not him doing it, but it's just that's been the narrative. And when you're throwing around that kind of money, people want to see that batting average up over 219.
Well, obviously, this has been a topic of discussion from the beginning of the season when everyone knew these would be 2 of the biggest names, if not the biggest names, in the offseason. Manny Machado on the right, Bryce Harper on the left. Forget about the money. If you had to choose one of those 2 guys to be a cornerstone of your franchise, and you had the money, it wasn't an object, who would you rather have?
Well, it depends on how much I'm going to have to spend.
Well, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars either way.
If I were running a team, I would probably pass and try to go, help out in other areas instead of putting all the eggs in one basket.
Yeah, and you're not even joking. A lot of people watching and listening right now might think you're being sarcastic. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't think either of those 2, granted, I don't think anybody's worth $400 million, but I dug into Bryce Harper's career numbers. You think they're going to be otherworldly. He's never had a 100 RBI season.
It is interesting. It is interesting, and he's actually only had 1 season where he's hit more than 30 home runs.
That was his MVP campaign in
he had that 1 year, 42 homers and 99 runs batted in. Other than that, it's been 29 home runs or fewer and nowhere near 100 runs batted in. Hasn't been, fully healthy in a number of seasons. The one thing that those 2 guys have going for them, the age.
Yeah.
They're not becoming free agents at 28, 29, 30. They're becoming free agents in their mid-20s, and that makes them a whole lot more attractive, especially to the longer-term deals.
Their best baseball is probably still in front of them, which is a scary thought. How about our left-hander stepping in against Gonzalez? Jake Bauers. Just a small sample size for Jake with the big club, but he certainly had a memory that'll last a lifetime yesterday. A walk-off sayonara home run against the New York Yankees in the 12th inning.
And one of the rare times you see him ambushing first pitch.
Yeah.
3-2 count again. He does this all the time. Works very good at bats, a lot of extended at bats.
The 3-2 is drilled into right field. That's going to go for extra bases for Bauers. Off the wall, Cron moves to third. Bauers is in with another extra base hit.
Tell you what, how quick was that swing? Full count. This fastball from Gonzalez is coming up and in, and he gets the hands through very quickly and the barrel right to that baseball. Boy, great finish on that swing. A lot of power, hard line drive right off the wall and right, and the Rays are ready to scratch pay dirt here.
That's Bauers' 7th double already. 11 extra base hits in 18 games so far with the Tampa Bay Rays, as advertised. That brings up Carlos Gomez, riding a little bit of a hot streak himself. 370 over his last 8 games. And no surprise, a big swing by Gogo.
And no surprise, an off-speed pitch here in this situation. Second and third, nobody out. First pitch hook in the dirt, and Gomez, the helmet coming off. We've seen that a lot more here recently. You know, he's been feeling a little bit better at the plate. The production has been a lot better. And the confidence, you can feel it growing. The aggressiveness.
He's got a couple ducks on the pond. Runners on second and third. Nobody out. Bottom second, no score. Rays and Nats. Here's the 0-1. Way outside. Evens the count at 1 apiece. Now Severino's out to have a little chat with Gio Gonzalez, who right now, with 33 pitches in the book, 18 balls and 15 strikes.
Yeah, that is not the way to pitch. I don't care who you are. But then, make matters worse, if you're not going to be a pure stuff guy, you have got to pitch from out in front. Pitching from behind is very difficult. We've seen that fastball tonight from Gio Gonzalez, you know, low 90s. He's got to be precise with location. He's got to move the ball in and out.
Looks a little bit flustered right now after that meeting on the mound with his catcher Severino. The 1-1. Ball's low, ball 2. Well, Gio's fastball probably top out, what, around 90 maybe, if we're being generous, and he throws it 55% of the time. He's become much more of an off-speed pitcher now that he's into 11 years in the big leagues.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps it simple too. One of those guys with 3 pitches. He's able to get good sink though on the fastball. Good two-seamer, gets a lot of ground balls. Rays hitters are doing a great job of seeing the ball up. Anything down. I don't care if it's the hook, the fastball, or the changeup. They're just spitting on it. There's really no real effort made to even go down and look at those pitches. You see it low out of the hand, they're just taking it.
Big pitch here, 3-1. Swung on and fouled. That'll send it to a full count for Carlos Gomez. Talk about a guy like Gio Gonzalez. I mean, he's never been a frontline starter, never been a #1 guy, but certainly would love him as a #2 or a #3. 8 straight years with 10 or more wins. He won 21 games back in 2012. That ball taken for ball 4. So the Rays as a collective lineup doing a wonderful job seeing as many pitches as possible, and it's paying off. Bases loaded.
Man, they're just not biting. You see those takes right there by Gomez. Everything below the zone, he's not even thinking twice about. And he's one of the more aggressive hitters you're going to find.
And Derek Lilquist out to have a little chat. You can feel free to remove that Zubaz t-shirt promo anytime you want to.
Boy, a lot of
There
Zubaz.
There it is. Little throwback.
Yep.
20 years ago, the 20th anniversary of the Rays. Were people wearing that 20 years ago?
Yes, they were.
I was.
They were, without a doubt. I wore them 20 minutes ago.
That's part of your pregame ritual.
It gets me right where I need to go. Perfect frame of mind.
Big opportunity for the Rays. Knocking on the door in the bottom of the second against Gio Gonzalez. Bases loaded, nobody out, and maybe the hottest hitter in the Rays lineup is up, riding a 9-game hitting streak, the shortstop Adeiny Echeverria. Here's the 0-1. And he chased upstairs to even the count, or make it 0-2, pardon me.
Well, the Rays hitters, we said they want to see the pitches up, not that far up.
Here's the 0-2. Outside, taken for ball 1. Danny Echeverria, as we mentioned, a 9-game hitting streak, hit .353 in those 9 games. And he's also been fairly clutch with runners in scoring position this season. 9 for 29. That's good for a .310 batting average with runners on second and third. Here's the 1-2. High and tight, and it gets away, and the first run of the game is going to score. C.J. Cron crosses the plate on the wild pitch.
Boy, it's been a nightmare start here for the Nationals in this game. Going back up with the fastball right off the glove of Pedro Severino. They're going to rule that a wild pitch as opposed to the pass ball.
So 1 run in. Echeverria still looking at a runner on second and third. Carlos Gomez on second. Jake Bauers on third. 1 run in. It's 1-0. Rays over the Nats in the bottom of the second with nobody out still. Gio Gonzalez throwing his 42nd pitch of the night. That one spoiled away.
Yeah, it's still nobody out here in the second inning, and you're in a lot of trouble. I mean, this is a team that last night finished a late game against the Phillies, got into the hotel last night. Well, shouldn't say last night, early this morning.
What, about 5 a.m.?
Thereabouts.
And not only did they play the 8 o'clock Sunday night start in Washington, D.C., they had a rain delay in that game.
Yep.
And then had trouble getting into Tampa from Washington, D.C. If there was ever a time for the Rays to ambush the Nats, it's tonight. Trying to spoil Davey Martinez's return to Tropicana Field as a manager. That ball taken outside, and Danny Echeverria has worked it to a full count. And Gio Gonzalez, just the look on his face, he looks lost.
Yep, like he can't find it. The body language is not very good, being very hard on himself right now. And obviously, you know, we talked about the stretch that he's been going through, you know, his last 4 starts.
And that ball taken high, ball 4, another walk. The third one this inning.
Cannot find the zone. I mean, everything is being taken below the zone, is being spit on. You had that one swing by Echeverria on the pitch up above, but other than that, guys are taking that pitch too. And this is the breakout. You know, he was at one point 6-2 with the 2.10, and then his last 4, 0-2 with the 620. That opponent average up 70 points, and the walks don't help either.
Yeah, last 7 games started. An ERA over 4. He hasn't won in the month of June. 0-2 with 2 no decisions. And he is in big trouble right now. On the ropes with Willy Adames, the number 9 hitter. The bases loaded and still nobody out with 1 run across for the Rays. Here's the 1-0 to Adames. Low and away. Ball 2. No action as of yet in the Nats bullpen. Here's the 2-0. Right down the heart of the plate, taken for strike 1. So it's going to be 2-1 to Willy Adames. Really starting to heat up. 4 for his last 8 over the course of the last 2 games against the Yankees. And now it's a 3-1 count. Next pitch for Gonzalez will be number 50 on the night. Still nobody out in the bottom of the second. Here's the 3-1. That one popped up, straight back, and out of play. So it'll be a full count to Adames. Well, we mentioned Adames has been starting to heat up as of late after a little mini slump upon being called up in the throwback unis. He went oppo and took it out of the yard.
You know, right down the line on a breaking ball, nonetheless. Impressive shot by Willy Adames. Seen a lot of good things from the young kids that the Rays have brought up.
5th straight full count for Gio Gonzalez against the Rays lineup. And it's fouled back, and the pitch count continues to rise. What we've seen firsthand how many injury struggles the Rays pitching staff has had. That's been well documented. As Adames will walk home the second run of the game. So that makes 3 straight walks, 4 in the inning, and 2 runs have now come across. Just going back to finish the point about the Nats have had their issues with the pitching staff too. Steven Strasburg on the DL. They've had any number of relievers hurt and out. David Martinez just trying to keep this ship afloat until he gets his first full complement of players.
Well, he's also trying to, wondering how to keep Gio Gonzalez afloat. The results have been terrible. The body language hasn't been much better. I mean, there's definitely something going on between Gonzalez and Severino. Or Gonzalez v. Gonzalez fighting himself.
That ball way outside.
What a save there by Severino. That ball looked destined for the backstop, and a sliding scoop saved temporarily, at least, another run.
Well, it's interesting to note the last time Gio Gonzalez pitched in this building was back in 2015. He didn't make it out of the 4th inning. Gave up 8 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks against the Rays back then. He's looking at an even uglier result tonight.
Well, this is where the Rays need to strike and just put this game out of reach right now. They got an opportunity to do it, and you don't know how much longer Gonzalez is going to be out there.
First action in the Nats bullpen has Justin Miller up. Here's the 2-2 to Kiermaier. Taken for ball 3. If you're the Rays, why would you take the bat off your shoulder at this point? You can't get the ball over the plate.
No, and he's missing badly. Even the strike 2 pitch, that was just Kiermaier getting a little greedy, getting a little too aggressive. But right back to taking pitches, seeing them as balls out of the hand. And another full count.
4 walks this inning, 5 in the game. Still nobody out in the bottom of the second. The Rays threatening to blow it open early. And Kiermaier drives it deep. Taylor going back. He'll make an effort. It's gone. A grand slam for Kevin Kiermaier. Kevin Kiermaier came in batting .141. He has his first home run of the season, and he does it in grand fashion, clearing the bases with a grand slam on the 39th pitch of the inning by Gio Gonzalez. Second career grand slam for Kevin Kiermaier. That's one way to get comfortable at the plate.
Well, that's certainly what you're hoping for. That is the shot that gets him going. Full count, and he got a fastball to handle and got it just over the wall. This is exactly what we're talking about. Here comes Gonzalez. Just a challenge fastball middle in, and Kevin Kiermaier gets right to it. Michael Taylor, a great effort here to go up and try to get it. Ends up a little bit short.
Right up the middle. And another hit. This time Matt Duffy singles to center field.
Just added to the list. How many hits for him up the middle, the other way? And that's, yeah, I think Davey Martinez has seen enough. You're ready, you're coming in.
Our call to the bullpen brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Justin Miller coming on for the Nats as the Rays chase Gio Gonzalez. Nationals. Everyone deserves a second chance. Just play Grouper. Enter your lucky money ticket online, and you are registered for the $400,000 Super Grouper second chance promotion. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. So Gio Gonzalez doesn't even get an out in the second inning. Gives up 5 walks, only 2 strikeouts, and all 6 runs. And that gives way to Justin Miller, a big right-handed reliever who comes in with 5 wins. That's tied for most among major league relievers.
How about that in just 12 games? He's got 5 wins. He's got 25 punch-outs in 15 2/3. So a great start here in 2018 for Justin Miller.
Daniel Robertson steps in, hoping to keep the hit parade going for the Rays. A grand slam by Kevin Kiermaier opened things wide open. It was a 2-0 lead, and with 1 swing of the bat, it's now 6-zip. Duffy's going. The throw from Severino, not in time. Stolen base for Matt Duffy, his 5th on the season.
Take that, Michael Taylor. Duffy off and going. And this national team, they lead Major League Baseball in caught stealings. Not there.
Kevin Cash keeping the foot on the pedal. Getting another runner in scoring position for Robertson. The 0-1 swung on and fouled that. So Robertson finds himself behind in the count, 0-2. 6th game back for Kevin Kiermaier, and he busts out in a big way. Man on second, nobody out, 0-2 to Robertson. Ball way outside, off-speed pitch, taken for a ball 1-2. Robertson coming in with a .385 on base percentage and an .813 OPS. That's why Kevin Cash has him out in left field. You got to have his bat in the lineup. Here's the 1-2. That ball just outside. Chad Fairchild calling the balls and strikes tonight behind home plate. Bit of a funky setup for Justin Miller. Talk about hiding the baseball.
Yeah, they're trying to create some deception. He's a big guy, 6'3", about 220 pounds, but when he comes set, he is so far closed. And then, like you said, he's trying to get some deception.
Here's the 2-2. Close, but taken for a ball, 3-2.
There's a lot going on here with Miller. You've got you set, closed. He's got a little crossfire action, kind of throws across his body. He's got some interesting, nimble little footwork after delivering the ball to the plate. Somewhat of a dance.
Here's the 3-2. Sky high pop up. It's going to be just outside second base, and Defoe calls it. And finally, the Nationals have the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Wilson Ramos with 1 out, and Matt Duffy sitting on second base. Well, Kevin Kiermaier loaded up with a grand slam, scoring 4 runs with 1 swing of the bat. How about the LA Dodgers last night, BA?
Yeah.
7 solo home runs.
Yeah, I mean, the bang for your buck, awful. They did win, but my gosh, it was 8-7.
It was against the Mets.
That's the Rays are going to see the Mets here
Yes.
pretty soon.
And Miller had Duffy fooled, but Defoe wasn't covering second.
Duffy, assuming he didn't have a very big lead and it wasn't a moving lead, so easier for him to get back. But Miller didn't have a play even if he wanted one.
There's Gio Gonzalez. Looks like he's trying to bend the ear of anyone who will listen to him right now. The 1-0. Ramos taken all the way, strike one. Four walks in the inning, a double by Bowers, a grand slam by Kevin Kiermaier. 6 runs in all, and Matt Duffy stands on second base. A single and a stolen base for Duffy. Ramos fouls it off. It'll be 1-2. Well, so many great numbers for Wilson Ramos this year offensively, BA, but the one that really jumps out, 361 with runners in scoring position.
When it matters the most, absolutely.
Here's the 1-2 to the Buffalo. That one chopped to short. Turner fields, fires over to first, and there's 2 away. And now C.J. Cron will step to the plate. He's the man who started this inning off with a walk. He later scored on a wild pitch. That was the first run of the inning and of the game. And the floodgates opened after that. C.J. Cron leads this team with 38 RBIs. With Matt Duffy on third, has a chance to add to that total. That ball way outside. Take it for ball 1. Well, not quite as extreme, but Justin Miller suffering from the same inconsistency that we saw from tonight's starter for the Nats, Gio Gonzalez. 12 pitches, 7 strikes, 5 balls for Miller so far. Here's the 1-1. Rays come in 37-40 on the season, 5-5 in their last 10, but they won their last 3. Courtesy of the sweep of the New York Yankees. C.J. Cron swings through strike 2. It's going to be a 2-2 count with 2 outs. And Matt Duffy on third. A Kevin Kiermaier grand slam opened things up here in the bottom of the second. It's 6-0 Rays over the Nats. Here's the 2-2 to Cron. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And the inning finally comes to an end for the Washington Nationals. But Kevin Kiermaier leads the charge when he put a charge into this one. A grand slam for Kiermaier, his first home run of the season, and the Rays lead it 6-0 after 2. Kiermaier grand slam in the bottom of the second leads us to the top of the third. 34 minutes before Blake Snell takes the mound to throw his next pitch. And it's a strike.
Every pitcher's different, but when you have a half inning where you're sitting there for 34 minutes, sometimes you'll go up in the cage and toss a couple if you feel like you need to. Other times you just sit back and enjoy.
Here's Turner. He's speedy. Echeverria with the throw and a nice pick by Jake Bauers. So one away in the top of the third. Let's check in with Michelle Margot.
Thank you so much, Rich. Well, if you noticed, a guy in left field today is not a usual outfielder. It is Daniel Robertson, who usually plays infield. And I asked Kevin Cash why, and he said it'll be a rotating infield and outfield given what the roster looks like right now. And talking with Robertson, he said he knows they're not looking for him to do anything crazy out there today, but he said the same thing that Joey Wendell said, which is he can't complain as long as he's in the lineup. And BA, do you think that can affect a player's offense at all with their mind being on playing another position, or is it just easy to separate?
You know what? I mean, really, you'd probably have to talk to those guys. It's probably different for everybody. I do know this. I know that when you're talking about it, and Kevin Cash did this over the weekend with C.J. Cron, sometimes that DH position, not real easy for guys. You know, they have a bad at-bat, and they're kind of stuck thinking about that bad at-bat until the next one comes around, where if you're playing in the field, you go out there and immediately think about helping the team on defense. And so it definitely keeps you engaged, and I'm sure that even more so for Joey Wendell the other night and Robertson tonight being out at a new position. I guarantee you that they are on point every single pitch. You know that. It's just a matter of being able to make the play. But that's why these guys put the work in. Mm-hmm. You know, they understand that it makes them more valuable. It helps out the team. And like Michelle said, and what Daniel said, it keeps me in the lineup.
That 3-1 offering taken for a strike by Trey Turner. It's going to be a full count to the speedy leadoff man. Of course, if you're not familiar, Trey Turner, part of the Washington Nationals, came over from San Diego, and one of the players in that 11-player deal was Jake Bauers, who came to the Tampa Bay Rays because of that. That was when Will Myers was dealt to the Padres. Steven Souza came over to the Rays. That was a massive deal back in 2014. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout chalked up by Blake Snell.
Here it comes. That's what Blake Snell. Look how he stays behind and spins that fastball 96, 97 miles an hour. Just above the belt, away. And
that'll bring up Bryce Harper. Nobody on and 2 outs here in the top of the third. Harper walked in his first plate appearance in the first inning against Snell. Blake Snell starting to settle in right now. Snell's retired the last 8 batters he's faced from this Nats lineup. The 1-0. Blew the fastball by him in 97.
He certainly did. Tardy on that swing right there. Just never got that front foot down in time. Got that little leg kick, that little hitch, and that ball is by you.
Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed again. Got him with a 97-mile-an-hour heater.
Boy, this is where you're feeling it if you're Blake Snell. And he goes another one, 97, and it is by him. Not been able to catch up to the gas.
Third straight fastball taken for a ball 2-2. How, if at all, does it change your pitching strategy when you find yourself up 6-0 this early?
You don't. You have your game plan. You still go out and execute. If you start pitching to the score, you'll run into issues.
That ball taken for strike 3. Snell knew it when he threw it. backwards K to Bryce Harper. That retires the side. 1, 2, 3. The last 9 batters retired by Blake Snell. We go to the bottom of the third with the Rays up 6-0. Six nothing Rays as Jake Bauers steps in, the first batter at the bottom of the third, and Chad Fairchild calls time. MLB at Bat is your #1 Rays app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Rays home screen icons and features such as the MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Justin Miller in relief of Gio Gonzalez, who didn't even get an out in the second inning. Jake Bauers now leading off. He had his first at bat result in a double. He later scored. 1 for 1 on the night. Bauers swings at the off-speed pitch. It'll be 0-2. The 0-2 low and away. Now the 1-2 from Miller. Inside.
This is what we're talking about with Jake Bauers. You know, he finds himself down quickly 0-2. How about the first take? And then that slider right there didn't even flinch. He just continues to make pitchers work, does not give away strikes or at-bats.
2-2 swung on, another hit for Bauers.
Well, he's as comfortable as anybody that we've seen recently at the plate. Just very well balanced. The takes were very impressive, and it leads Miller to bring in a pitch in the zone, and he just goes and gets it.
This is really his 18th game. I mean, he looks like a 5-year veteran up there.
He really, his at-bats, it's not just the results. You know, we talked about it coming in. You throw out his first 2 games, where, by the way, he went over, but hit the ball hard in a number of at-bats. Yep. But the average was 294 coming into play. It's impressive. The on-base was, what, 438? I mean, the on-base percentage tells the story.
And I know it's not as sexy as the hits and the home runs and all that. He has 11 extra base hits now in 18 games. He has 13 walks in those games too.
And only, what, 15 strikeouts? So he's almost at that 50-50. Same thing with Juan Soto. That's what's so impressive about these two youngsters.
It's just Brian Anderson forecasting. Tee it up at the top of the telecast, give people what to watch for, and Jake Bauers is paying it off for you.
Listen, I'm hitching my wagon. After that shot yesterday that finally got us home.
Absolutely. Swing and a miss by Gomez. Yeah, you go back to that walk-off home run. He now has 3 hits in his last 3 at-bats, 2 extra base hits. Finds himself on first. Leadoff batter in the bottom of the 3rd. Nobody out. 6-0 Rays. Looking for their 4th straight win and their 7th straight win here at Tropicana Field. Time called by Chad Fairchild again. Here comes the 0-2. Inside, ball 1. Of course, you talk about walk-off home runs like the one yesterday from Jake Bauers. The other walk-off home run this season for the Rays, courtesy of the man at the plate right now, Carlos Gomez. The 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Well, we talked about it. Let's show it to you again in case you missed it yesterday. It took 12 innings. The Rays had no hits in this game after the 3rd inning until that pitch, the first pitch he saw from the Yankees. And you think he was a little bit excited?
A hair. His helmet didn't make it to second base. His jersey didn't make it to the dugout.
That reaction was probably the rookiest thing that he's done since he's been up with the Rays.
Yes.
But we'll give him that. And now he joins quite the illustrious list. The youngest Rays players to hit a walk-off home run ever. He's now shoulder to shoulder with Evan Longoria, Carl Crawford, and Delman Young.
That's a baby-faced Evan Longoria.
Clean shaven.
Yeah.
Of course, Longo out for the San Francisco Giants. Got hit by a pitch, what, about a week or so ago? Broken hand. Tough break for Longo. Here's Adeiny Echeverria, walked in his first at bat. That was against Gio Gonzalez, who got chased after just 1 inning registered. Now Echeverria with a man on first and 1 out, riding a 9-game hitting streak coming in. Miller taking his time. Now the 1-2 popped up in back of first base. Defoe's there, he squeezes it, and there's 2 away. So that'll bring up the second baseman tonight, Willy Adames, who, stop me if you heard this before, walked in his first plate appearance. He later scored on the Kiermaier grand slam.
He was part of that run. 4 out of 5 hitters to lead off that inning walked for the big blast by Kiermaier. I thought the game plan tonight here against Gio Gonzalez was outstanding. You know, trying to see the ball up. He's had a really good, ground ball percentage, ground ball rate. And so, you know, you've got the sinker, you've got the changeup, pitches that he likes to work down in the zone. And the Rays hitter said, look, we're not going down there until 2 strikes. Until then, we're going to force you up.
Adames fouls it back. It'll be out of play.
Yeah, and he never really did that. Was not able to do that consistently. And this lineup was disciplined enough to just take their walks. If you're not going to come up, I'm not going to go down and help you out. So I'll just take my walk, and we'll just continue that little game. And you could tell that Gio Gonzalez a little bit out of sorts. He was angry about something out there on the mound.
Bowers at first, 2 outs. Bottom of the 3rd, Rays up 6-0. Fellow rookie Willie Adames at the plate, and he promptly singles into the gap. Bowers is going to hustle his way to 3rd, and Adames finds himself on first base with a base hit. Well, this is a much different Washington Nationals team than the one that we saw in D.C. And we'll talk about that in a second as we look at Willie Adames' swing.
How do you go out and get that? That's pretty good plate coverage there by Willie Adames. A fastball down and away. Not a bad pitch at all by Miller. Look how he's able to lengthen it out, drop it in, and the Rays look to add.
The Rays played the Nats at Nationals Park on June 4th and 5th, or 5th and 6th. So you got only a couple weeks separation between the times these teams are seeing each other. Since that time, the Nationals have gone 6-10, and they're 3-7 in their last 10. What's been the difference? Because coming into that series, we were talking about this Nationals team as maybe the odds-on favorite to go to the World Series from the National League.
Well, I do know this, you know, that in that 13-game stretch, they've been limited with the home runs. They've not hit many home runs. 6 home runs last 13 games. That's led to just under 3.5 runs per game, and the team ERA is over 5. So, you know, bad combo.
Yeah.
You're not able to get the ball out of the yard. You're not able to manufacture. You know, we looked at a number of hitters in this lineup that are swinging the bat well right now, but they've not been able to piece together innings, not scoring runs, not hitting home runs. And, you know, on the other side, the pitching staff as a collective unit, ERA over 5. That's not going to work out.
Yeah. And you would never, especially in a team game like this, you would never blame one guy. But when you look at some of these players, we were laughing about it coming into this telecast. It seems like everyone in the lineup is hot except for Bryce Harper. How much of this burden does he shoulder?
Well, you know, you wonder. His last 6 games, I think he's reached safely in 5 of the 6. Had, you know, I think 3 doubles in the game last night. And that was a huge comeback win for this team. You thought maybe they're going to build some momentum and start to snap out of it. That was taken away here early so far in this ball game. You just wonder that the start that Harper has gotten off to as far as the batting average goes, because you know that he's capable of way more than 219. He has, you know, hit the 19 home runs and driven in 40 plus, but he knows he can do more, and you wonder how much of that becomes mental.
Third base umpire Bruce Dreckman says Kevin Kiermaier did offer on the swing and couldn't hold back.
I think he may be right.
That'll make it a 2-2 count for Kiermaier, the offensive hero so far with the grand slam in the bottom of the 2nd inning. That ball just outside the zone. It's going to be a full count to Kiermaier.
Close.
Yeah. There have been a lot of close pitches already tonight. Chad Fairchild's strike zone extremely tight, which shows you just how well Blake Snell is throwing. Here's the 3-2. Fouled back. The count remains full. This is his 3rd time up already tonight, and Kevin Kiermaier has already faced 3 full counts. Now in just an inning and 2/3 work, Justin Miller's pitch count is already up to 37. And that ball gets away, and another run's going to come across and score. So Jake Bowers crosses the plate for the second time tonight. And Kiermaier will advance to first.
Got this ball yanked well in, and you could see Severino going at that ball, rolling the glove over the wrong way. I mean, if anything, you're going to backhand this. Well, this team is just all out of sorts. Yeah, this is where you want to go for the backhand. That's your only chance, and that would not be the way that you go after that pitch.
Is that
you
a telltale sign of a cross-up in between pitcher and catcher?
I don't know what you would call that. I mean, I don't, because you recognize the pitch is headed that way, and it's just natural that as a right-handed, you backhand. And even the backhand may not have gotten there, but you're never going to get there the way that Severino was headed.
Yeah, Severino's having a whale of a night so far.
I think that's indicative of a team that goes to bed at 6:30 in the morning.
So scored a walk and a wild pitch, and Duffy flies out to center. Michael Taylor makes the catch to end the inning. Another run comes across. It's 7-0 Rays after 3.
All Rays as they lead it big, and Blake Snell tonight, walked the first 2 hitters of the ball game. Since then, he has locked it in, and that has been a big reason why his curveball tonight is as good as we've seen all season. He is spinning that so tight, so much depth, so many awkward swings, and good results to go along with it. Been fantastic with the curveball. The other pitches have started to come around, and 3 shutouts so far.
First pitch to Anthony Rendon taken for a strike.
You look at those still shots, of that grip, and see how long his fingers are, the way that he's able to manipulate a baseball. And there's another one. Just sick tonight with the hook. And then you think about his release point. He's got the highest release point Major League Baseball.
It's got to be over 7 feet, right?
And then you're coming downhill literally on the mound, and then you're creating that angle and the depth with that hook. Look at that. I mean, you talk about being able to manipulate at 12-6. That's fun. Now he's still able to spin that pitch so tight. He doesn't have to go to the knuckle curve. You know, a lot of guys will do that because that helps them create more spin, tighter spin. Blake Snell does not need that.
And after a 20-pitch first inning, he has settled in nicely. Just 51 pitches now as he faces the first batter of the fourth inning. If there's been one major issue for Blake Snell this season, it's been that elevated pitch count. Hasn't allowed him at all times to get deep into the games. He obviously has in a handful of them. That's been a major factor in his 9 wins so far this season, but he has been able to manage it, certainly in the second and the third, and now into the fourth inning. Swing and a miss, strike 3 to Rendon. And that's the 3rd straight strikeout for Blake Snell.
You know, sometimes it's the elevated fastball that sets up the 12-6 curveball. Other times it's the earlier curveball that sets up the elevated fastball. I mean, both with similar spin. They're just, you know, it's that tight spin. And you can really use those 2 pitches to complement each other very well.
And you remember back a couple of starts when he was in Seattle and he struck out the first, what, 7 batters?
Yeah.
I mean, that was electric stuff. You can make the argument, although the first inning wasn't quite as clean, you can make the argument that right now, looking at how Blake's throwing, he is as on point now as he was back then. Swing and a miss from Soto. And he's quickly down 0-2. Soto struck out in the first. Our Southeast Toyota inside look. The journey to the big leagues for Juan Soto. Not really a long one at all, BA.
No, I mean, look at that. Last season, played 32 minor league games. How about this year? 31 games in A-ball, 8 games in Double-A. And now he's in the big leagues. And by the way, being very productive in the big leagues.
Yeah.
And a tough matchup here tonight against Snell.
Well, it's that easy for everybody, isn't it? I mean, this is usually what happens with guys, right? When they're 18, 19 years old.
Scary. It's scary again. You know, it started the season in A-ball. Played 8 games in Double-A. Made his debut and came into this ball game hitting .324 with an on base of .430 in 31 games.
Now Michael A. Taylor steps in, one of the hottest hitters, maybe the hottest hitter in this Nats lineup. .486 in his last 15 games. He lined out to right to end the first inning, his first time up. And he barely catches up to that 97-mile-an-hour heater. Blake's been living right around 97 this entire night. Now he's got another quick 2 strikes on Taylor. Looking for the put away here. Does he have it? Yes, he does. Strikes out the side. 5 straight Ks for Blake Snell. And we go to the bottom half of the inning. Edwin Jackson throws the second no-hitter against the Rays in 2010 and the third in less than a calendar year. It took him 8 batters, or he walked just 8 batters and threw 149 pitches for the Diamondbacks. Edwin Jackson, who is now, Brian Anderson, pitching for his 13th team, the Oakland A's.
Yeah, that was an impressive performance this afternoon, too. How about that? 6 innings, 1 earned run, didn't walk anybody, 7 punch-outs, no decision. 13 different teams.
Just hanging around.
Yeah, it's hard to let this game go if you feel like you could still play.
That ball fouled back.
And obviously with his performance today, he can. You know, go out there in a big league ball game and give up 1 in 6. Pretty good.
And the tie-in tonight is not just a Rays tie-in. He started this year in the Nats organization. They let him go. He went over to Oakland. A few games. Here's Robertson with the drive. Back goes Soto to the warning track to make the grab. A few starts in AAA Nashville, and then he gets the call. Edwin Jackson. I guess the game you can play right now is, can you name all 13 teams that Edwin Jackson pitched for?
I'm not even going to give that.
Were you ever a teammate of Edwin Jackson's?
No. When I was here, when 2008 started, you tried to play again and ended up on, as Jim Hickey's assistant. Got to spend some time around him, but no, never played with him.
That one driven deep by Wilson Ramos. Same spot, only about 20 feet deeper. And the Buffalo has another home run. Tenth home run of the season by Wilson Ramos.
You know what? Help out the team. Bolster your case for the All-Star game.
Do it against your former club that you played for?
Yes. Who's looking for catching help, by the way.
Yes. Don't think Nationals GM Mike Rizzo isn't watching right now with a little extra watchful eye. And all of a sudden now the Rays are starting to get aggressive at the plate. An 8-0 lead will do that for you.
That four-seam fastball did not get itself away. Middle in. He knew it.
Well, as much as Gio Gonzalez struggled through his time on the mound tonight, Justin Miller's not having much better success than Gio did. C.J. Cron swings through that off-speed offering. And it's 1-2. Cron walked in the second, and the Rays batted around, and he struck out to end that inning. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And with 2 outs and nobody on, Jake Bauers steps to the plate for the 3rd time. He's already 2 for 2 tonight with 2 runs scored. Facing Miller for the 2nd time. The 1-0 taken for strike 1. Well, it's been a perfect storm so far for the Rays. Riding a wave of momentum after the sweep at home of the New York Yankees. They ambushed Gio Gonzalez in the 2nd inning to the tune of 6 runs and have just added on since then. Another hit for Bowers. He's 3 for 3 tonight.
Tell you what, riding the momentum, I mean, from last night's or yesterday afternoon's walk-off, and he just continues to hit. Don't make a mistake. Want it in, it better get in there. Out over the plate, Bowers just hammers it.
I don't know if you're a fan of this term. I've never heard you use it, but every once in a while I'll bring it out. Jake Bowers looks hitterish, doesn't he? Are you a fan of hitterish?
It doesn't offend me.
It doesn't offend you? Okay.
No, not at all.
Because I don't want to offend you. I'm
no.
just a visitor.
No, please do. That makes the broadcast much better. No, I mean, he looks very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
And everything, very balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Even that's why that previous at bat, when he ended up getting a hit into right field, the 2 takes on 0-2, down and away and down and in. I mean, you didn't see him leaning out. You didn't see him stumbling back on those takes. He just was balanced, stood there, recognized it, didn't do much mechanically, just watched him off the plate. And then you want to come over the plate, now I'm ready to go.
When he got the call up, the one thing that some people might have used as a negative against him was he was a little bit cocky, maybe, but it was confidence. It was confidence. And if he didn't go right, as Gomez strikes out, it could be cockiness, but it's confidence and it's working for Bowers. Gomez strikes out to end the inning, but Wilson Ramos tacks on with a solo shot, his 10th of the year, and the Rays have an 8th spot against the Nats.
Top of the 5th inning. Well, if you didn't know already, Wilson Ramos, your catcher, aka Buffalo, is in contention for the All-Star game. And of all the pitchers are wearing these, they definitely are showing who they are campaigning for to make the AL catcher's spot in the All-Star game, and that is Wilson Ramos. And we want to encourage you to vote. The 2 ways that you can vote: you can go online at raysbaseball.com/vote, or go to Gate 3 here at the ballpark and vote on the iPads. Voting ends July 5th, so try to vote soon. You can vote up to 5 times per day and 35 times total. Rich, NBA, should I wear it the whole game, or do you think I'm obstructing people's view here?
Ooh, you know what? I think you should wear it the whole game. I think you should wear that on the next flight.
Yes.
The next flight?
Yes, that's right.
No.
Why?
But I will say that Wilson Ramos hit that home run with this on my head.
Well, then it's on.
Yeah,
it's
then it can't come off.
No.
I'm keeping it on, whole
and
game.
when we get onto the plane for the dance party down into South Florida, you will have that on.
Okay.
I think you wear that thing right up to when the voting is final, and he is named the starter.
Listen, if I have to do that to get Ramos in the All-Star game, I'll do it. That's what Blake Snell was doing, Chris Archer was doing. They're all doing it. So.
It looks better on you, though.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We'll have to get you in it pretty soon here. I can't see.
Keep me warm. Keep my bald head warm in the winter. I'll tell you that much.
In the Tampa Winners.
Reynolds grounds it softly. Adamas Fields over to Bowers, 1 away. Well, Blake Snell certainly in support of Wilson Ramos going to the All-Star game, and Blake Snell himself is well on his way there. I think at this point you'd be hard-pressed to keep Blake Snell off the roster for the American League.
Well, as dominant as he has been, you think about his ERA coming in to this ball game, 2.48. That was good enough for 5th in the American League. Big strikeout numbers. He'd only given up 64 hits in over 94 innings.
Yeah. He's tied for 3rd in wins, 4th in opponent's batting average, and he's been Mr. Reliable. He's 2nd in the American League in starts.
And consistent. You know, when you look at it, the number of his starts, 2 earned or fewer. Was it 13 out of? Yeah, 13 out of 16, whatever. It's remarkably consistent what you're going to get out of him every 5 days.
Defoe fouls it back, and he's behind the count, 1-2.
And he's one of those guys now where you come to the ballpark and you see his name, and if you're one of the players, you're already going, we're going to win tonight.
You're feeling good.
You're already in that positive frame of mind. We're going to win tonight. And that goes a long way, man.
There's another strikeout for Snell for the 2nd out of the inning. 9 strikeouts for Snell already.
This time he's going to go with the slider. Look how that thing bottoms out. No real chance.
He's 3 off his season high of 12, which came in that aforementioned game against the Seattle Mariners in Seattle. Now Severino steps in. He flew out to Kevin Kiermaier to end the 2nd inning. Quick work by Snell. Evens the count at 1-1. That one's in the dirt. 2-1. 14 straight retired by Blake Snell. It's 8-0 Rays, 2 outs, top of the 5th. That one chopped off Severino's foot. And the count will be 2-2. Well, it's been a rough night all around for Pedro Severino.
Yeah, this has not been a pretty game at all for this Nationals team who had such a big win last night, late last night.
2-2, got him. Make it 10 strikeouts for Balake. He's retired 15 straight, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. Auto Furniture, a different kind of furniture store for over 50 years. And by your local Ford dealers. 4.5 in the books. We go to the bottom of the 5th with the Rays all over the Nats. 8-0 in game 1 of this short 2-game interleague series. Third pitcher of the night on for Davey Martinez's Nationals. It's going to be Tim Collins, the left-hander.
Well, he is on for the 13th time. He's only worked 7 2/3 innings. 4 strikeouts. And that's the one thing you come into a series and your starter only gives you 1 inning, really what it amounts to. This lead holds up. The Rays won't bat in the bottom of the 9th, but still, you've got to piece together at least 7 innings here tonight and have enough left over for tomorrow and subsequent games after that. By the way, quick turnaround tomorrow.
First pitch swing, and Adeiny Echeverria drives it into the gap in right center. Taylor's there, first out of the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, and so you think about this team gets in and goes to bed so well this morning. And so now you think, well, now after this game tonight, you've got a chance to catch up on. Not really. You're coming and playing here almost a morning game, 12-10. You do have Max Scherzer on the mound. That certainly helps.
That helps a little bit.
Just a touch. Look at those numbers. And Nathan Eovaldi, a guy that's capable of going out and dominating too. He's got really good stuff.
Yeah, a couple of quick workers there, BA.
Yep. And they'll be in full attack mode tomorrow around lunchtime.
That's a rematch of what was game 1 of the series back in DC a couple weeks back. Both pitchers pitched well.
Yeah, Nathan's pitched better than his numbers would indicate.
Absolutely.
He's had a couple of games where he got some runs tagged on a little bit late that probably didn't belong there.
Well, even that last start against Houston, I mean, obviously the first thing you see is the 4 home runs he gave up.
Yeah.
But he went 6 innings. You give up 4 runs to a Houston Astros team that might be the best offense in baseball outside of the New York Yankees.
And he just ran into that inning too where, you know, a couple of pitches in a row really missed their location, and instead of giving up singles or doubles, they all left the yard. They got really hot really fast, which they're capable of doing.
That Collins offering misses the mark. It's 2-2 with 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. And Willy Adames at the plate. He's 1 for 1 on the night. Walked in the 2nd, singled in the 3rd. Fights it off to short. Turner barehands it over to first.
How about that? I mean, that's an impressive play there. When you saw him doing it, you didn't even think that it was necessary. But Trey Turner said, if I can, I will. And he did.
Can't have a better bounce than that. Our Bonefish Grill fresh catch of the game turned in by Trey Turner. So that brings up Kevin Kiermaier. Swings at the first pitch, strike 1. Kiermaier struck out in the 1st, but the big blow came in the 2nd. A grand slam for Kiermaier, his first home run of the season. And he quadrupled his RBI total with that 1 swing. Had 1 RBI coming in. He now has 5 on the season. I guess that would be quintupled. So now he has 5. He had 1. I'll get it right. Grounds it. Turner on the shift. Makes the play, retires the side. A 1-2-3 inning for Tim Collins. We go to the top of the 6th. The bottom of the order coming up for the Nets. got to the 8-0 lead for the Rays. Blake Snell has been dominant. He walked the first 2 batters and has retired the last 15, 10 Ks so far on the night for number 4. And Kevin Kiermaier provided all the offense the Rays would need. A grand slam in the second. And the Rays are now up 8-0 as we head to the top of the 6th inning. Wilson Ramos added a home run. His solo shot, his 10th on the year in the 4th. 2 home runs by the Rays, 8 runs come across, and it's 8-0 for Blake Snell as he works in the top of the 6th. And Adam Eaton can't hold back on that one, so it's strike 1. That one grounded up the middle. Adames backhands over to his rookie teammate Jake Bauers for the first out of the inning. The first thing that you think of when you think of Bauers and Adames, especially because they have been producing offensively, is what are they doing at the plate? But when you think about projecting long term, if and when these 2 guys are in a Rays uniform for the next 5-10 years, they are locking down the first base spot and the shortstop spot like nobody's business. Really gifted defensive players.
Athletic, young. Love Jake Bauers, and not only his glove work, but his footwork around the base. First base, that is. Willy Adames, he continues to get reps over at second base with Echeverria out there. That's only going to help his growth.
And that one hit hard. Kiermaier chasing it. Back. Leaps and makes the grab. Well, that was the first serious offensive threat for the Washington Nationals. Trey Turner gave it a ride, but Kevin Kiermaier with the denial.
You're challenging the wrong guy. Maybe a week and a half ago, this ball's going to get to the wall, but not now. Still got 2 feet inbounds, too. Right there, one, a little bit of long stride right there, but gets it down. He was so anxious to get back in the lineup. I mean, meeting the team on the road, begging to get into the lineup so that the first guy he would face would be Justin Verlander. That's how badly he wanted back in.
That brings up Bryce Harper for the 3rd time tonight. Snell walked him in the 1st, struck him out looking in the 3rd. Bryce struggling mightily at the plate. He was 1 for 7 with 4 strikeouts when these 2 teams met back in DC. What a play by Adames. Over to Bauers to rob Bryce Harper of a base hit and retire the side. 1-2-3. Well, as somebody would say, put a gold star next to that one. Willy Adames and Jake Bauers arm in arm to end this top of the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Matt Duffy will lead things off for the Rays.
For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 Join T-Mobile in showing appreciation for all military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Back inside Tropicana Field, Matt Duffy leading things off. First pitch swinging, fouls it off. We have a new right fielder for the Washington Nationals. Bryce Harper replaced by Brian Goodwin after that last ground out from Harper to end the top of the 6th. Willie Adames robbed him of a base hit. Duffy grounds it over to third. Fielded by Rendon. There's one away. Well, Tim Collins has come on in relief and retired the first 4 batters he's faced from the Rays. That'll bring up the number 3 batter in the Rays lineup tonight, Daniel Robertson. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Robertson playing left field, getting his first start as a major leaguer in left. Hasn't faced any action out there yet. Joey Wendell started there the other night, had 1 fly ball.
Yeah, I remember that one. I was going to ask you if you remembered more than just the one. That protecting these guys.
Right.
Well, Blake Snell, right now, there's not a lot of fielders getting action. He's punching out everybody.
This is true. 10 strikeouts for Blake so far. He's retired 18 straight. Robertson ahead 2-0. And now it's 3-0 for Daniel Robertson. .34 walks on the season. He's been a fixture in the top 10 in the American League at on-base percentage. And he looks at strike 1. Wilson Ramos awaits on deck. Last time up, solo shot for the Buffalo. His 10th home run on the season against his former team, no less. And that's strike 2. Robertson was out of the box walking to first base. Checking with Chad Fairchild where exactly that pitch was.
Right there at the bottom of the zone. Just get another chance to swing the bat. Look at it that way, I guess.
3-2 and a base hit for Robertson. His first hit of the night.
Sure. Right? Now you got to remember to thank Chad Fairchild when you head back to the dugout or you score a run.
Good piece of hitting by Robertson. That brings up Wilson Ramos. Came into this contest hitting .345 in his last 9. He's 1 for 3 tonight with a solo home run. And he's making a bid at 2. Goodbye baseball. Wilson Ramos on the first pitch he sees from Tim Collins, deposited into the left center field seats. His 2nd home run of the night. Home run of the year for the Buffalo. 7th career multi-home run game for Wilson Ramos. C.J. Crone swinging at the first pitch, fouls it off.
Boy, if you don't think that it means a ton for him against his former team, look at him go up and get that pitch almost letter high. And you think he knew it? And
Crone puts a charge into one, but Taylor's right there in center field to squeeze it for the second out of the inning. Well, according to StatCast, that last blast off Tim Collins went 446 feet into left center field. Last 2-homer game for the Buffalo came May 18th at Anaheim. Now he's got one tonight at the Trop. 3 RBIs for the Buffalo as well. And he's now taken over the team lead in that category with 39. Jake Bauers 3 for 3 tonight, looking to make it 4 for 4. Exit velocity, triple digits. We'll take that.
I guess when you go 446, you off the bat, you get a pretty good feel. I don't know if that door.
Yeah, folks over at the Rumfish Grill. Get a little extra appetizer. Bauer slices that one foul.
I think that's where we used to do pre-game shows from up there from time to time. And let me tell you, that is a bomb home run.
We'd have to check, but that has to be one of the farthest ones hit inside the Trop this year at least. 446. That is no fooling around from the Buffalo. Would you assume that he's going to get the day off tomorrow because of the early start?
Well, I don't know. He may not want the day off. Swinging the bat like this.
The way he's going.
Maybe asking himself right back in that lineup, especially against his former team.
Strikeout ends the inning, but the damage done by Wilson Ramos, a 2-run blast. It's 10-0 Rays going to the 7th.
Here at Tropicana Field, well, it is time now for your Chevy Prospect Spotlight. We're looking at left-handed pitcher Genesis Cabrera, who in Double-A Montgomery yesterday, through 8 shutout innings, allowed just 1 walk and struck out 7 against Birmingham. He has a 6-4 record overall this season with a 3.62 ERA. Rich and BA.
Thank you, Michelle. More impressive numbers from some of the young stars coming up, and it wasn't too long ago that Johnny Field was one of those young stars in AAA. He's now taking the place of Daniel Robertson as a defensive replacement in left field. Robertson moves to third, so Matt Duffy has the rest of the night off, and Field will take Duffy's spot in the lineup. Matt reached twice tonight, a single and a stolen base to his credit. As Blake Snell goes to work on Anthony Rendon, the number 3 batter for this Nationals team. Rendon flew out to center field in the first, struck out in the fourth. One of 10 strikeouts by Blake Snell. And now Rendon's ahead in the count, 2-1. Snell walked the first 2 batters he faced in this game, Trey Turner and Bryce Harper, and since then he has retired 18 in a row. Here's the 2-1. And for the first time in a long time, Blake Snell behind in the count.
And we saw that right out of the gate, you know, the first 2 hitters of the game, but since then he's jumped out in front of most.
The 3-1, and that one is driven deep over Field's head. It's going to stay in the park, but Rendon has the first hit of the night for the Nationals, and it's a double. Well, Rendon is a double specialist. That's his 21st double of the season. And a big round of applause for Blake Snell from this crowd inside Tropicana Field. 6 innings of no-hit ball for Blake. Spoiled by the first batter he faced in the top of the 7th.
How about that? He was able to stay right on a 3-1 changeup. That's been a pitch when he has fallen behind this season. It's been very effective for him in getting back in the count, but Anthony Rendon stayed right on it. Got it off the wall and left.
The longest start for Blake this season was 7 1/3 innings. He's done that twice this season. Right now he's at 85 pitches with nobody out in the top of the 7th. Now Spencer Keyboon takes Rendon's spot at second base as the pinch runner. That'll be 1-1 to Juan Soto. All the hype about Soto. He's got 2 strikeouts so far against Blake Snell. Snell showing just a little bit of frustration with that pitch. It's 2-1 with a man on second, nobody out. Michael Taylor awaits on deck, one of the hottest hitters in the National League. That one taken for a ball, so now it's 3-1 for Soto. And this is a little bit of an oddity, BA. Against left-handers, Snell is virtually unhittable. 130 opponent's batting average, 26 strikeouts, and only 4 walks coming in.
Yeah, tough matchup. I mean, you think about the arm angle again. You know, same side, left on left.
Here's the 3-1. And it's taken for ball 4. So the first 2 runners reach for Blake Snell in the top of the 7th. And Michael A. Taylor steps in, lined out to right in the first, struck out in the 4th. Taylor leads all of Major League Baseball with 23 steals. That doesn't count for much when you can't get on base. Snell pumps in a strike at 96 miles an hour.
Well, Blake has done the one thing that Kevin Cash needed him to do here tonight, and that is get deep into the game. You look at that series against the Yankees, and it was a great series results-wise. You know, the Rays sweep one of the best teams in all of baseball and a division rival. But in the 30 innings of that series, the Rays used 18 pitchers to get through 30 innings. That's a lot of work done by that group.
All hands on deck.
Yes.
everyone played a part.
They all did.
They all contributed.
You think about even the work that Romo, he was in all 3 of them.
There's a ground ball. Could be 2. 6-4-3 double play. So Keyboom will advance to 3rd, but there's 2 outs in the inning now for Snell.
Well, if you're going to get Taylor, he's going to have to hit it sharply and typically right at somebody. And that's what he did. Nice shovel there. Adames with the turn just in time. Well, you love that if you're Blake Snell.
The errorless streak continues for Adeiny Echeverria. That brings up Mark Reynolds, the first baseman, who's 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out in the 2nd, grounded out to Willy Adames in the 5th inning. Blake Snell, 1 hit allowed, 10 strikeouts through 6 2/3 so far. That fastball outside. So now Reynolds ahead in the count, 3-0. And strike 1 called. Ten runs for the Rays. Their season high is 12. And swinging at strike 2 is Reynolds. That brings the count to full, 3-2. And the crowd wants strikeout number 11. They won't get it on that pitch, fouled back by Reynolds. And Blake Snell, his next pitch, he'll hit the century mark. And he's still throwing an easy 97.
Yeah, I mean, he's lost nothing here as this game has gone on. Great stamina.
And he lost Reynolds, 2nd walk of the inning, 4th on the game for Blake Snell. So now it'll be runners at the corners with 2 outs.
Yeah, mirroring the 1st inning there where he had some command issues.
Wilson Ramos looking over at Kevin Cash, seeing if there should be any discussion with Blake Snell. That was waved off. Let him go to work. Wilmer Defoe steps in. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts tonight. That ball just missing. Fastball at 96. It'll be 1-0.
A lot of these misses have been down. You know, I know that the walk to Reynolds, the fastball was up, but the other misses, the vast majority of them down below the zone, trying to find that angle downhill, and just a little bit too much of one. Kevin Cash not going to let this go on too much longer, so you start to get that bullpen heated.
That ball taken for a strike, evens the count at 1-1. Ryan Stanek, the first Rays reliever, up on the night. And can I just put in a request for tomorrow? I don't know if Wilmer Font's going to pitch tomorrow at all.
Right.
I would love to see a Wilmer on Wilmer matchup in this game. It's not going to happen tonight for sure. And that's Wilmer. Grounds to 3rd. Robertson fields, fires, and the inning is over. Well, Blake Snell has been electric tonight. 10 strikeouts, only 1 hit allowed through 7 innings. The Rays are dominating, and Snell is staring at win number 10 on the season. of the Rays Nat series from Washington, D.C. just a few weeks ago. It's going to be a fun one, and daytime baseball, the earliest start of the season for the Rays. An 11:30 a.m. Rays Live pregame, followed by a just after 12 o'clock noon first pitch here at Tropicana Field. Well, new pitcher for the Washington Nationals, Matt Grace, enters the game to face Carlos Gomez in the bottom of the 7th. Defensive change for the Nats. Mark Reynolds moves over from first to third, and Spencer Kieboom moves over to first base after replacing Rendon as a pinch runner last inning. Gomez swinging at the 0-1, and it's going to be 0-2. Now Austin Pruitt, just recently recalled from AAA Durham, is up and warming in the bullpen. Looks like, for all intents and purposes, Blake Snell's night might be done, and what a night it's been. Just 1 hit allowed, 10 strikeouts, 103 pitches. You let him go out there for the 8th?
You're asking the wrong guy. I mean, I would love to go out there.
You would love to.
Yes, but the way that things are right now, a 10-run lead, you know, Blake Snell has done his job. He's gotten you through 7. I'm sure he'd like to go out there himself, but I don't see why at this point. Now, if he had a no-hitter going.
Right.
But here's the other thing. Let's say that he still did have the no-hitter going. 2 more innings? How many pitches are you going to let him
Yeah.
have? I mean, unfortunately, those are the things that come into play now.
Yeah.
You know, that we talked earlier about the Edwin Jackson. He walked, 8 guys in that game, but he had 149 pitches. That's not going to happen now, 149 pitches.
Yeah. Well, this is the 11th time Blake's gone over the 100 pitch mark. His season high is 114.
That gets you through the 8th if it's a quick inning. And then what?
Yeah. Then you're really battling yourself.
Do you think there's some relief that he gave up a hit? They don't have to be forced to make that decision? I'll take your nod as a
That's why I am up here.
No,
and not down there.
Well, that I know, and that's, you know, the game has changed in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
You know, the pitch counts are watched like a hawk now.
Listen, it's not just a quality start. It's an uber quality start
for
Blake Snell at this point.
And if you're Blake Snell, you're going to want to be out there. You're going to want to go out there as many pitches as it takes. How many times do you get that opportunity?
Yeah.
But, you know, you don't know if that's going to be the case, just because it is so important, and they watch that pitch count. You know, they may let you go a little bit deeper in one start, and then the next start they tighten it up just a little bit. So it's that would be an interesting decision that would have to be made, and I think there are some involved that are glad that they don't.
And in all seriousness, having a guy like Austin Pruitt to put in there, he'll pitch the next 2 innings as long as he doesn't blow up.
Yep.
So that's great, because you only use 1 reliever, and now things kind of regress back to quote-unquote normal for the Rays relief corps.
Yeah. And then, you know, with the off day on Wednesday, you could do something special tomorrow afternoon and only have to use a couple of those guys, then everybody's way set up for the Astros series.
Adames goes down swinging, the 2nd strikeout of the inning for Matt Grace. And that'll flip the lineup to Kevin Kiermaier, the leadoff hitter for the Rays. He had the big blow in the 2nd inning with that grand slam.
I think that's one of the interesting things when, you know, you look at what the Rays are doing with the opener and with the bullpen day. The Yankees series, 30 innings total in that series, 18 different pitchers used. That puts an awful lot of pressure on your regular starters like Blake Snell and Nathan Eovaldi to have to get deep into a game. I mean, you can't afford one of those guys to stub his toe and come out early. Now what? You know, that's where some of the, you know, you're thinking about how you manage the bullpen, how you keep guys fresh. Well, it also adds pressure to the starter knowing, look, there's only 2 of us right now. And so they are counting on us getting deep in every single start for this to work.
And unfortunately, there's really not help on the way. Jacob Faria is down for the foreseeable future. Still not sure when Chris Archer is going to come back. And then, you know, the injuries keep piling up. Yanni Chirinos placed on the disabled list again. You were hoping that maybe he'd get back sooner than later after starting off so strong for the Rays. But you have guys like Ryan Yarborough. I mean, yeoman-like work from some of these young kids.
Yep, and they're doing it in roles that they're, you know, not really accustomed to. It's not been part of the kind of pitcher, you know, that they've been brought through the system. Ryan Yarborough's been a starter, but he says, you know, he's gotten a few starts, but he's also going to have to come in after an opener, a Stanek, a Romo, and come in and do the job. And these guys have, you know, just put their head down, and when you tell me that it's my time to go out and pitch, that's what I'm going to go and do, best of my ability.
That 9-man bullpen has been taxed this entire season, but since May 19th, when Sergio Romo broached the opener phase of the Rays season, the Rays are #1 in Major League Baseball in ERA, 3.04. They're also #1 in opponents' batting average at .218. Things are working, especially tonight. They're up 10-0.
The ball game, and then what was it, 18 in a row retired. He was so good. The curveball really early in the game was something that he leaned on, and then from there everything started to come around. The slider started getting guys on that, the overpowering fastball, sprinkling a couple of changeups here and there for good measure, and end up with a line like that. 7 shutout, just the 1 hit. Ironically enough, a 3-1 changeup to Anthony Rendon, double digits in strikeouts, some help from his battery mate with a couple of long balls. And then here comes Austin Pruitt. He's on for the 15th time, just recalled by the Rays. That injury to Johnny Venters, unfortunate, the hamstring, trying to cover first base in the ball game yesterday. There's Jake Faria.
And there's Johnny. Hopeful that it's not a long DL stint. He said it's the first time that's ever happened to him in his career. Well, the Lowe's whole team together, it's taken a whole team and a whole staff, but the Rays have been up to the task. A 3.04 team ERA since May 19th is better than anybody in baseball.
Well, look at the teams on the list. Yankees, Red Sox, Astros, the class of the American League, and the Dodgers, who've been playing much better baseball lately.
So Jesus Sucre takes the place of Wilson Ramos, gets a well-deserved extra time off. after clouding 2 home runs and 3 RBIs tonight. That ball driven by Severino into deep center field. Malik Smith out there in place of Kevin Kiermaier tracks it down in front of the wall for the first out of the top of the 8th. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter for the Nats, Adam Eaton, who's 0 for 2 tonight. Eaton missed 52 games at the start of the season with a left ankle injury. He was reinstated back on June 9th. Kind of an injury-plagued career for him the last few years. Played only 23 games last year. It's quickly down 0-2 to Pruitt.
Put together some nice seasons in Chicago. You know, high average, good on base percentage, can run well. I hate to use that phrase sometimes. You know what you mean when someone says, you know, they can run. When you break it down, you're like, well, a lot of guys can in this game. Maybe not as fast as others.
He's only 5'9", Adam Eaton. There's Trey Turner on deck, the leadoff batter. I know you're not a big Twitter guy, but I got a kick out of Adam Eaton's Twitter handle. It's Adam Spanky Eaton.
Ah.
5'9".
Yeah.
Qualifies as Spanky.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not a big Twitter guy because I enjoy what I do for a living.
If only more of us could follow that. Eaton grounds it. Adames fields it. And there's 2 away. Well, if Rays pitchers strike 10 hitters today, visit CanesStrikeout.com for a printed home voucher to take to Canes Furniture within 7 days and receive a coupon for 2 free tacos and chips at participating area Tijuana Flats locations. Restrictions apply. So at last count, 10 strikeouts for Blake Snell all by himself. Means everybody's going to get some free tacos and chips. And obviously the good folks at Papa John's also chipping in when the Rays score 6 or more runs. So hope you're hungry, Rays fans. Everybody's eating after tonight's game. Two up, 2 down for Austin Pruitt. And that brings up Trey Turner, his 4th at bat. He's 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. This is a Washington Nationals team that's playing the American League East this year, obviously, and doing pretty well coming into tonight. 10-6 in their 16 games against the AA. At least they haven't played Boston yet, and they kind of feasted on Baltimore. They're 5-1 against the Orioles.
Well, that's that rivalry. You know, they're not too far apart. They're Baltimore and DC.
There's a drive by Turner. It'll be fielded by Johnny Field to end the top of the 8th inning. Rays coming up in the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Johnny Field leading things off. Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by your local Honda dealer. Rays comfortably in front of the Washington Nationals, 10-0. And number 10, Johnny Fields, stepping up to the plate for the first time tonight. Fouls that one off. It'll be 0-1 against Matt Grace. And there's a happy fan.
You hang in there till the end. You know, this could have been a very easy game to leave. 10-0, 8th inning. But you never know.
That's about the only happy thing for that kid tonight in the Washington Nationals set.
That is absolutely correct.
It's a true friendship, splitting their loyalties, but the Rays fan obviously happy for his buddy who roots for the Nats. And Field takes. It's 1-2. Grounded to third. Reynolds over to first, one away.
Any thought of just sleeping at the field here tonight?
I brought my sleeping bag just in case, but this game has moved on at a fairly, I wouldn't say brisk pace, but a fairly comfortable pace. Enough that we'll get a few hours of shut-eye at the homestead. Big 11:30 pregame show.
I begged to not be a part of that show tomorrow. Begged.
You know.
Yep.
You know the boss, KP, was making, he was having none of that. And Bartle, too.
Yeah, no. They both got together. You know, I was not on it today. You had the full boat out there because you had Doug and O in the pregame show. So, you know, with Neil. And so, you know, 3 guys, it's too much. So I get that. But I'm like, you know, a nooner, no one needs to hear from me before lunch.
The insights, they're invaluable. It's another chopper, fair ball. Reynolds, what a play. The veteran, Mark Reynolds, moving over from first base to third, and he turns in a gem of a play.
That was a nice play. Headed right over there, little scoop, and then the throw. Right from the hip. I mean, on the money, belt high. Watch this little flip.
Leave it all out on the field.
Yeah. Now listen, I mean, he's been around this game long enough to know that you play right through to the end. Things haven't gone very well for this ball club here tonight, but he's out there making plays, giving effort. Exactly what you should be doing.
Jesus Sucre, his first at bat tonight. Taking the place of Wilson Ramos, who clubbed 2 home runs. The last one, a 446-foot moonshot into left center field. Sucre went 2 for 3 yesterday against the Yankees. Grace with the 1-2. Swung on and drilled up the middle. Another hit for Jesus Sucre, who's suddenly very hot at the plate. A 2-out single for the Rays catcher. That'll bring up C.J. Cron for the 4th time tonight. Coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by WB Mason. It will be Neil Solondz, Doug Wechter, and Orestes Destrada anchoring the coverage. You'll hear from Kevin Cash following this game, and you'll get minor league updates from around the Rays farm system. That and a whole lot more coming up on the WB Mason Rays Live postgame report. Certainly no shortage of highlights to show. It's been a 10-0 whitewash. Another ball going in Reynolds' direction. C.J. Cron walked in the 2nd and scored on a wild pitch. 2 strikeouts and a line out to center after that. inside, ball 2. 2-1 to C.J. Crone. Love to see him break out of this prolonged slump. And he does with a single, up the middle. Advances Sucre to second. Everybody hits tonight.
Boy, you really do hope that this may be the most important action of the night for the Rays. You know, get the win, yeah, but get C.J. Crone feeling good about himself at the plate, going back up the middle, that helps.
And that'll bring up Jake Bowers, who is 3 for 4 tonight. A double, a single in the third, and a single in the fourth. Continuing his torrid pace at the plate. He's first pitch swinging now. Bowers came into tonight with a .914 OPS, and now he has his first career 4-hit night. There's going to be a play at the plate. Sucre slides in safe. An RBI for Jake Bowers, and a 4-hit night for the rookie first baseman.
That's been a nice couple of days for Jake Bowers. How about that? Right off the end of the bat, still get enough of it to get it into center field. Sucre motoring around third. Let's go. Starts the long stride.
And a perfectly executed slide, we might add. Alex loves it. Everybody up in the dugout. Get that man some oxygen. Carlos Gomez loses his batting helmet on his first swing. Oh, there's.
Be careful.
Is that like a crime scene with chalk marks? Is that what that is?
That's the 11th run, Rich.
Come on, we didn't have to show that.
Yes, we did.
Reynolds been busy at third. All 3 outs recorded by Mark Reynolds in that inning. 3 more outs to get for the Rays to close out the Nats. We go to the ninth. The Rays up 11-0. Well, it's been the Rays' night, 11-0 on 12 hits, and holding the Washington Nationals to just 1 hit. 3 outs to get for Austin Pruitt in relief of Blake Snell, who is looking squarely in the eyes at win number 10 on this season. Nice play by Bowers. Pruitt covers, score it 3-1 in the books, and there's 1 out in the ninth. Oh, the Rays are on their way to win number 38 on the season, and Jake Bauers a huge part of it.
Yeah, you know, flag that thing down defensively. Nice little flip over there to Austin Pruitt. You mentioned, you know, his first 4-hit night. Able to drive in another run. This is coming off the walk-off home run Sunday afternoon.
So that'll be 5 hits in his last 6 at-bats for Jake Bauers. And the Rays putting up 11 runs. The last time they scored this many, you have to go all the way back to April 28th when they put up a dozen at Boston. And it's the most runs at Tropicana Field this year. Spencer Keyboom came off the bench in this game. Looking at a 1-1 count. And now it's 1-2. Pruitt ahead. Got him on the outside corner. A little bit of a delayed call by Chad Fairchild, but it's a backwards K for Austin Pruitt, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, nothing like Tom Hallion yesterday afternoon.
Right, that was the opposite of Tom Hallion.
And what he does right there is he will verbalize it to the catcher, to the hitter, so they know before he goes into his little string. But yeah, he is much more chill with his call than Tom Hallion.
Tom Hallion was channeling his inner Enrico Palazzo yesterday. Now there's 2 away. And Juan Soto representing the final out for the Rays to get. He's got that front toe turned inward.
Keep that hip closed.
What does that remind you of? It reminds me, I know somebody had, a really good hitter had a stance like that. I'll have to think about that one.
You've got until 12:10 tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't have much time.
No.
I'm on the clock. Well, the Nats are down to their final strike.
Good thing the Cub fan decided to show here tonight. Lost.
Here's the 1-2.
Could have. Now spread out. Well, you see the 2-strike approach here of Juan Soto. You see him crowd, you just get a little bit lower, a little bit more spread out.
Tried to get him to chase upstairs. Makes it a full count, 3-2. Ground ball, base hit, Soto. Just the 2nd hit of the night for the Washington Nationals. And it comes with 2 outs in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, and extends his hitting streak now to 9 games. He had an 8-gamer coming in. I guess that would make sense then. It would go to 9.
Taylor hacks at the first pitch. So despite the fact that the Washington Nationals only have 2 hits tonight, Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto both extend their hitting streaks to 9 games. The haircut's working. Swung on and missed. And Taylor finds himself down 0-2. Grounded to third. Robertson goes over to second to complete the final out of the game. And the Rays win at 11-0. Blake Snell gets win number 10 on the season. The Rays have won 4 straight and now have won 7 straight here at Tropicana Field to improve to 38-40 on the season. For everybody here at Fox Sports Sun, including Brian Anderson, I'm Rich Hollenberg saying so long for now. Now stay tuned after this for Rays Live, the postgame.